What's going on, guys? Today we are updating the running back tier list, and as you guys can see, something is clearly different on there. Okay, there's no S through D tier in today's video. I'm probably gonna go back to the S through D tier for Madden 25, don't worry. But I think in June we have a lot of good running backs. I mean, we got 99s down here in what would be like C tier. It's June. Okay, we're gonna try these different kind of categories here. So let me know what you guys think. Of course, if you are part of the 61% of people who watch the videos and are not subscribed, let's change that right now. Head down there, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications. Of course, any support is appreciated, but I'll kind of explain each one. So this is X Factor and perfect build, or an overpowered X Factor. So that means that even if their build isn't good, if they have good X Factors or abilities, that can still land them into the effective S tier. We have X Factor with a good build, so that's going to be like your charge X Factors with like a decent build, which to me is like, 5'11", 5'10", to me is decent. And then probably in that 5'11" range, honestly. We then have our X Factors with bad builds. These are guys that are a little bit smaller, or bad X Factors as well. So yeah, Payne Hillis, I mean, some of these guys towards the bottom, they just don't have the best ones. Like this is like I only think it's Wrecking Ball, NFL Combine, which isn't great, but he's still solid with he's actually a pretty decent build, Darren McFadden, but he's there because of the X Factor. So if you're wondering why a card's there, it's maybe not a combination of both the things. It could be one of the things as to why they are where they are. Yeah, it's kind of what we have here. Right here we have no X Factor with a good build or good abilities or stats. So you can have a guy with a good build here. Pretty self-explanatory, but they don't get X Factors. They do not. This card actually might. We actually don't know about this card yet. This Dre Archer card might get X Factors. We don't know yet until next Thursday. But these are cards with good builds, and yeah, then no X Factor. I think CMC does get one, but it's not a ball carrier X Factor. And then down here we have no X Factor, bad build, or just outdated. You can obviously still use some of these cards on theme teams, but there are much better options currently in this game right now. And let's get started with our first running back of the day, and that is going to be Alvin Kamara. Hold up, before we talk about Alvin, I do want to talk about Michael Penix, because I feel like people are going to not understand why he is so high up on this list today. He gets really good abilities, and he's 6'3", 213. So if you guys don't know, taller running backs this year, they have a really good juke animation. And by the way, all I'm going to say is RIP to the juke move for Madden 25. Okay, RIP to the juke move. I gotta figure out some kind of stick work. That's all I'm gonna say for next year, okay? It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But 6'3", 213 on Michael Penix, which is like basically a perfect build for a running back. You clear good distance. You're not too big. You're not too clunky. You're 6'3", just like Eric Dickerson. A little bit lighter than Dickerson, but I do like this build a lot. And really good stats, really good pass catcher, and the abilities do back it up. And he does get charge X Factors as well, so you can put your angry runs on him as well. And then you also do get the pre-baked backfield master, and then if we head down here, you get evasive and energizer or route tech. This is a really good card that's going for 50k right now. I'm probably gonna do one more budget video this year, and Michael Penix will be in that video 100,000,000,000%. He is genuinely an amazing card with a really good build. And again, you might be able to argue him over Brees. You might be able to, but I do like Brees' stats just a little bit more. But now let's talk about Alvin Kamara. So Alvin Kamara, he is, or Kamara, whatever you prefer. He's got really good stats. He's only 5'10". I did try this card out for a little bit because I always love the way Alvin Kamara cards play. This one was a little bit underwhelming, a little bit with how he moved. I like some of the bigger guys. Also, like, it's crazy to say this, but these charge X Factors aren't even the best you can really get right now, which is crazy to say, but good ability stats. You're gonna have your evasives, you're gonna have, or your jukebox, or your whatever you really want. You're able to get it on Alvin, which is good. So he's definitely be a high A tier level guy. The build does kind of knock him off. The one thing that makes him maybe kind of closer to being an S tier is his pass catching stats. That's like probably the one thing that keeps the the S tier debate open for a guy like Alvin. But I don't think his X Factors are necessarily overpowered like some of the pre-baked X Factors or ability X Factors that we have. Also, his build just isn't anything crazy to put him up in this top tier. Okay, so I should address this one because I put Alvin underneath Joe. But Joe Mixon I think Joe Mixon is as fringe as it gets. I honestly might move Joe Mixon down. I like his build a lot, but the OP, like I almost said something crazy there. But yeah, his X factors and abilities, they're at the same level as Alvin's. Obviously, the build is just better. So this one might be readdressed here. We actually might move down Joe Mixon into the X Factor good build. He doesn't really fit the mold there, so I like his build a lot. But maybe it's just the fact that his X Factor isn't as good as some of the guys up there in S tier, and his build isn't like insane. He's only 215, 6'1", which is good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think we're gonna move him down. We're gonna move down Joe Mixon. We then have my favorite of the upgradable Theme Team All-Star running backs, and that's Najee Harris. Najee Harris legitimately has, his stats. Okay, I hear you. They're not, like, the speed might scare you, but the build is like perfect. He's right up to the weight threshold, so he's the perfect amount of weight where he still has the good juke animation. He's a good height where he still moves very well, so he has good lateral movement, can fall forward, can break tackles. He can kind of just do it all, but it sounds like it's maybe the pass catching aspect is a little bit lacking on Najee, but of course you have charge X factors, you have good abilities, all that good, so this card plays genuinely amazing. Okay, Najee Harris is an S tier option in this game right now, a top end option in this game right now. We'll put Najee here because I feel like Bo's X factor is just too broken. The NFL Combine Freight Train is still goated. It's still unfair. It's still crazy. Okay, so yeah, it's crazy that Bo still is good. By the way, it shouldn't be legal, but he is still that good. If you don't think Bo's still that good, just go use Bo again. You'll be like, damn, I remember that. How is his card still so good? How's he still good? I don't know. He came out in February, man. And next up, we're not gonna spend too much time on this one, but we do have Travis Etienne. Really good stats. This card actually, I've heard, plays really well. Good pass catcher. Just another one of those Team All-Stars. Able to get the evasive and human joystick combo, as well as angry runs or freight train, whatever you want to do there. So, Travis Etienne. We're going to put him up here. Yeah, we'll toss him up here at, yeah, I'm cool with that. His build could be debated as bad, but from what I've seen of the card, he does move well. It's close. It's honestly close between... He's toting this line, and so is Ramondre, by the way. He's also toting that line. They're both kind of toting that line. It's oh man, it's close. I don't know. After considerations here, we are gonna just keep this the way it is, but I am gonna switch these two. Ramondre Stevenson is still 6 foot. He's still 227. So yeah, his build's good enough. Even though he only has 97 speed, the build is pretty good. So we're gonna keep him there, and then you can debate Etienne here. You might be able to debate Dobbins coming up. And then the reason why Adrian Peterson's down there is just the lack of a good X factor. Like, he doesn't get freight train, he doesn't get angry runs, he does get first one free, but it's nowhere near what those two abilities are. We have guys that get that as a charge or get that as an ability. So it'd be good build. It would have been a really good card if they gave him, if he just came out a little bit later and he was coming out when like Walter Payton was coming out and things like that. He has RB1 potential, but unfortunately, he just missed it. He did just miss it. And next up, we got AJ Dillon, and the only thing holding back AJ Dillon is the fact that he doesn't get the good juke move. He's off by, I think, 1 or 2 pounds, but he doesn't get the good juke animation. Good pass catcher though, good short route running. He moves well, he does. Just the only problem is that juke move. That's the big issue there. Does get charge X factors, as well as the big one is freight train as an ability. So the reason why I value freight train and angry runs as an ability so much is because that opens up another yak for one of your receivers, or you can go double Vanguard, or you can go triple Vanguard now if you want to. You have a you have a QB X factor, 2 Vanguards, and 1 Vanguard as an ability, and now there's another one that just came out today. So you can go crazy. You can actually go crazy once you get rid of that RBX factor and use it as an ability. So there's a lot of value in that. Again, the only problem is, you're going to see a guy like William Perry come up here today. The reason why I would put Perry higher is because Perry fully leans into the weight aspect. AJ Dillon is still good at 247 with his weight, but he's 300 pounds and he still can't juke the same way AJ Dillon can't juke. So to me, if you're going to go down that path, just go all the way down if you want to get a heavy running back. So AJ Dillon, I think he's obviously still going to be an S tier running back because he does get angry runs as an ability, freight train as an ability, and that is There's a lot of value in that. If he had a good juke animation, he would definitely be in the top 5, 100%. We now have Brandon Jacobs. This dude's build is straight up glitchy, and he's one of those guys that are leaning more into the weight aspect. If you want a heavy running back, that's still actually, he has a bad juke animation, but you can still use it, obviously. Same with A.J. Dillon, you can still use it. But 264, he is the heaviest traditional running back we've seen in a while. And that doesn't count William Perry or like Vita Vea or whatever. So it's either him or like Jerome Bettis pretty much. But, you know, the speed's a little bit lower, but this car moves crazy as far as running guys over. And the way he just looks in game, it's like you're using an offensive lineman pretty much. But does, of course, get charged X factors, gets tank as a pretty big. And then I think I went with, I think I may have used Jukebox, but it really didn't make much sense. It didn't make that big of a difference. But I think I may have went Jukebox or a Bruiser with like human joystick because we already have tank. So yeah, his abilities are pretty good. Brandon Jacobs, though, you know, he doesn't have the X factor that, you know, A.J. Dillon has. That's definitely got to be considered. I would put him in front of Najee, though, but I think these guys are pretty interchangeable. If you want more of an elusive back, then you go Najee, right? If you want more of a power guy, you go Brandon Jacobs. You have that option. And then Bo Jackson is still somehow up here. I don't know how, but he just is that. He moves, like, the reason why Bo's here, I may have already said it in this video, but Combine X Factor is broken. Gets the ability setup you still want on these running backs that are coming out today. He gets it. At bare minimum, I will say that, but his movement and his build and just how he plays is just the reason why he's up here. Okay, there's no other way around it. He's just still that good. Okay, he's still that good. So typically, I don't really let people sway my opinion on a card too much, but I've heard a lot of good things about this Jamal Charles card. Almost too many. Where if I put him, you know, if I disrespect him, or not, I don't want to disrespect him, but if I don't give him the respect he deserves. It might get nasty out here. So we're going to go 99 speed, 99 acceleration, but apparently this guy plays really well. His build, I'm not in love with it. Under 200 pounds, 5'11". I mean, he's going to move okay. He does move okay. Receiving wise, he's really good. He can legitimately play slot receiver for you. I actually like that role for him a lot more. I'll be able to get down, catch the ball, possession catch, go ahead and get down. But it's the stat, like, these are pretty crazy stats. Which makes sense. And then, of course, you are going to have the charge X factors. And it's the abilities on these LTDs that are crazy. He gets like a 0 AP bucket, 0 AP bucket, 0 AP bucket, 0 AP, 0 AP, 0 AP. But to a certain point, this guy said, after 200 games with this guy's absolute ass. Okay, maybe this guy's got a different idea, a different opinion, but I've heard good things about this card. But my thing is this, right? All you really need for a running back to be good is a basic joystick and an X factor, whether that's your, or maybe not even joystick, just a basic and an X factor. If you have that, if you know, obviously X factors and abilities are good, X factor charge or combine, however you want to do it, sure, do it. But I feel like, you know, once you get to like you almost have too many abilities where it kind of starts to not make a difference. I guess it's kind of nice. Like red zone threat would be nice to have. You're not gonna need playmaker. Yeah, like you would run red zone. What are you running here? You're probably gonna go persistent here to keep on the X factor for a little bit longer. Red zone threat here. We'll go evasive here. We'll go joystick here, and then we'll go. What do we even have left? Do we go acrobat? Do we go route tech for better route running, I guess? Or backfield master, and he does get first one free as an ability, but again, X factor as an ability, but it's just not that great compared to some of the other ones. So Jamal Charles, he's got a deep bag. Okay, I will say I do respect that deep bag of Jamal Charles. Well, we'll put him in front of. Yeah, we'll put him in front of A.J. Dillon. Over Dickerson, though, I don't know. Dickerson has the stats. He has the NFL Combine X Factor. He's got basically like a perfect build, 6'3", like 220, which is pretty much perfect. He like, I don't know. He's kind of like Bo to me, where his cards just kind of play different, move different. I can't describe it, but you have to use the cards to know what I'm talking about. So, your token Dickerson, demon with. All I'm gonna say is Dickerson with no X Factor. He's a here guy, right? So it makes a big difference having that X factor. Huge difference. Okay, next up we have Sean Alexander. Okay, let's see what this card's got. Going for 2 mil right now. Is there a reason for this? 5'11", 225, so good build. I actually haven't ranked this card. It's actually my first time looking at him. 97 speed, 98 acceleration. Ball carrier stats look good. Pass catching stats look very good too. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Okay, he's gonna get free baked first one free. Again, no charge X factors on these guys. But will you give him an X factor ability? You will. You're gonna give him angry run and Truz. So Truz can't fumble, which on a running back I feel like it's not that big of a deal. But against a lot of the, I guess against a lot of the Avalanche and Enforcer Supreme guys, you might need that out there. So Truz angry runs 2 AP with evasive and first one free. It's a pretty good setup. I was. It's a pretty good ability setup. I'm not upset by that at all. Yeah, I would still say Marshawn Lynch is better. Yeah, I guess Truz is a better tank because if you have tank and get hit stick, it lowers your chances. But I guess with Truz, there's no way you fumble. Actually, I have fumbled with Truz before, actually, with a hit stick. I actually have. But we'll go AJ Dillon. Okay, Shaun Alexander over Jamal Charles is tough because he's got 97 speed, and that might deter some people. But I really don't think it will make that big of a difference. That 2 speed, it's nothing that you're really gonna feel out there. You know, I think the Truz is good for preventing avalanches. I think the first one free with the angry runs as an ability is crazy, and I think angry runs as an ability is really good because angry runs is better than freight train. Also, by the way, because angry runs also works on receptions, not only runs. So I'm gonna put Shaun Alexander there. I think he's gonna be kind of slept on because of that speed, but speed is not everything in this game. It's the abilities. Especially like we're talking about 2 speed. It's 97 and 99 speed. You barely notice things like that in this game. Like speed just plays weird in this year's Madden. I swear it does. I promise you it does. Okay, we now have Arian Foster. I originally was gonna put him a little bit. I don't know if I can put him over Shaun Alexander. I do like his card. I mean, 6'1", 227 is a great build. You have really good stats. He moves well. He plays well. And then you also have the abilities that are also good. Like all the 0 APs. You can run whatever you want on him pretty much. Whatever build. You would argue better than maybe, Jamal Charles' setup. But I have the same argument where, like, you almost have too many abilities. Like, what are you doing with these? What are you even doing with these at this point? You know what I mean? But, they're both good. I would personally go Arian Foster over Jamal Charles. I know that Jamal Charles does get that extra first one free, but it really doesn't make that big of a difference in the grand scheme of things. When you have, angry runs, like charge up, persistent on Arian Foster, I would rather have the build 100%. So this one's tough though, Shaun Alexander, Arian Foster, but I feel like those 3 X factors all together is just going to be too good. It's just too good. And you're not even using it. You're using 3 X factors, not even utilizing an X factor slot, which again can open up Vanguards, Yaks, whatever you want to do. That's crazy. Shaun Alexander's kind of crazy. Okay, we now have Marshawn Lynch. And this one's interesting because is he better than Shaun Alexander? Obviously the stats, we see the stats. 99 short route running. Okay, we like what we're seeing here. Charge up X factor. And he does get Freight Train as an ability with evasive and tank. So you have tank, Freight Train, evasive, and then you don't even need to use a charge X factor at all, right? So that's all good. It is honestly very close between the two. It's very close because you also have that little extra first one free. You get angry runs. I guess the AP, it's 2 AP to run Alexander. It's a little cheaper to run Marshawn Lynch. I think it's actually very close. I think what I'm going to do here actually is this. We put Diggerson's going to end up at like 5-ish for us today. Alexander and Marshawn are so interchangeable, man. They're truly interchangeable. They're very similar builds. Alexander actually has the better build, but not the better stats. That's the main thing there. The stats on Marshawn are just better because he has 99 speed, but like it's a 2 speed difference, and you're trading. I guess like you still get 2 X factors on Marshawn Lynch, but you're utilizing a very valuable X factor slot. The X factor slot's never been more valuable than in this year's Madden. Being able to not use it and then use it on players, because everyone has like 100 cards that get the charge X factor in the game, maybe more. It feels like, at least it feels like. So being able to use the X Factor abilities and then being able to also use those charge ones is just broken. So yeah, I think there is a lot of value in Sean Alexander, even though he is a 99 speed. I don't think people are really going to see that. But he's got a good build. I think he's a good pass catcher, and he counters a lot of the things that people are doing on defense against running backs to stop the run. I like. So I'm gonna leave it like this. I might change it. Well, we'll see in about 5 minutes. And next up, we got William Perry. And all I'm going to say about this card is if you play a guy who has, a lot of good run schemes this year are, I feel like stretch runs, RPOs, obviously. But if you face a guy who knows what he's doing and can run inside zone, can run base runs, can run trap runs, and just get this guy going north-south immediately. Because the problem with this card is, with the stretch run, you want to be able to kind of set the corner and then juke back and then juke back and then juke back up the sideline. That's kind of what you want to do. With a heavier back that cannot really move like that, it's harder to do. So you want to just try to go straight on, maybe make one guy miss, run one guy over in the hole, and just get 6, 7, 8 yards every single carry. And that's what William Perry is. First of all, the build's crazy. Pass catching is also crazy. But, 335 pounds at running back. Like I said, if you're going to go with the heavy running backs, go with the heavy running backs. And he also does get freight train as an ability, which is big, as well as evasive and tank as well. So evasive, tank, and freight train. Or you can just go energizer, tank. Maybe don't even go evasive, because it's not like it makes that big of a difference. Because he already has the bad animation, but if you want to, you can. But the options all there. William Perry, absolute stud. Love the card. I'm going to put him up here at the top of S tier for now, but just a very frustrating card in the right person's hands. And probably for your run scheme, if you're doing a lot of outside runs, Sean Alexander's better for you, or Marshawn Lynch is better, or even Dickerson might be better for you in your current run scheme and how you play the game. But if you're someone that likes going north-south, up the middle runner, William Perry's your guy. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. He is so effective at that. It's so frustrating. So usually I do put number 1 at the end of the video, and this is our last running back of today. But Walter Payton is a very good card. His build is the thing that it just doesn't make me feel confident with me putting him at number 1, because he's 5'10", 200. But this card just plays well, mainly because of his running style. He has a very unique running style that I don't know if there's another running back in the game that actually does get it. I feel like LaShawn McCoy probably would have got it, but it's the one-handed running style. And it does actually make the card feel different, play different. I feel like his juke animation, because of it, just kind of moves differently. I don't know how to really describe it. I feel like the Walter Payton cards always feel super unique, and this one is no different. If you've used the Walter Payton card, you know what I mean. But, good stats, 88 strength, ball carrier stats look good, receiving stats look also very good, but it's the abilities, of course, again. No charge X factors on the ULs, so it's hard for them to be good. But he gets tank, which of course is going to counter the avalanches in the game, which is big. You also are going to go evasive, and you're also going to go with angry run. This is another thing I would have changed with this card. I probably would have went angry runs in this slot, and maybe you could have given us route tech for 0 there. Because route tech for 1, if you have room for it, go for it on your offense, which you might, because there's a lot of cheap AP options right now in this game. You might have room for it. But probably don't run this ability slot. And it's crazy how Walter's still so good, and he's not even utilizing all his ability slots, and he's a UL, which is crazy. But you definitely want to use angry runs, use evasive, and you have tank. There you go. That's a great setup right there for Walter Payton. The card's going to move grades, and play grades, and break tackles. With that being said, I think Walter and Perry are 1A, 1B. 2 Bears running backs in 1A, 1B here. It is tough. It's really tough. I think finalizing it, I'm going to go with William Perry, because again, if you face someone that knows what they're doing with William Perry, he is so frustrating to stop. And if you want to try out William Perry, make sure you keep it between the tackles, okay, with him. Occasionally maybe dip outside of that, maybe go pick up like a cheaper elusive guy like a Darrington Evans, who's also a Bear, to maybe play with him. Or even, William Perry's 200K at this point in the year, so just, whatever. Okay, go have fun. Hold on, before we go, there's one more guy we have to talk about. I just kind of noticed this card came out, and that is an out-of-position running back, Derek Thomas. This card is actually really good. 6'3", and again, he's the perfect weight. He's right up at that threshold where he still is going to have the good juke animation. 96 speed is definitely holds him back a little bit there. I won't lie to you, but really good ball carrier stats, good COD. And then if we head down here, he does get tank as a pre-baked ability, and then also does get evasive. So a pretty good setup for Derek Thomas. I don't know. He's obviously no X factor. He's not going to end up here. But I would say good build, solid abilities and stats. I really feel like he ends up somewhere in this range. Like, I really feel that way. I'll leave him here. We'll drop him off right there. He's good enough ability wise. He's got a crazy, like, yeah, I'm fully comfortable with putting Derek Thomas as one of the best non-X factor running backs in the game right now. 100%. Tank, pre-baked, and evasive with that build is pretty much perfect. He's like Najee with no X factor, pretty much, which is that's good. But yeah, top 5 running backs right now in the game. We'll see how this list goes over. We have number 1, William Perry. Number 2, Walter Payton. Number 3, Sean Alexander. Number 4, we're going to go Marshawn Lynch. Number 5, we're going to go Eric Dickerson. That's my top 5. And I really feel like this 5th spot is super interchangeable. But I value build and a running back's feel more than anything else. I feel like running back's probably the position where I have the best feel for. Because I run the ball a lot and I've used a lot of different running backs. And the build is a lot of it. And the feel is also a big thing too. Some cards use feel and you're like, oh, this guy just feels solid. And I feel like that's how I felt when I used Walter Payton. He even has like good strength and stuff like that too. For like a smaller guy, that's kind of rare to see. And you feel it. These are things that you definitely feel. Yeah, happy rest of your day. Thank you for watching today's video. And of course, as always, I will see you boys in the next one.